The phone rang at 3:42 a.m. on a frigid Wednesday in January 2026, yanking me from a restless sleep. As U.S. Attorney General, I was no stranger to late-night calls. Crises involving national security or political firestorms were part of the job. But this call wasn't about any of that. It was about my daughter, Lily. Dad, her voice trembled, thick with panic and tears. I'm in trouble. They arrested me. I'm in jail. My heart lurched. Lily, my 23-year-old daughter, was born with spina bifida. She's been in a wheelchair her whole life, but her spirit is fierce, sharp-witted, compassionate, and halfway through her master's in public health at the local university. The idea of her behind bars was unthinkable. Lily slowed down. What happened? I demanded, already pulling on clothes. Through sobs, she choked out the story. It's Mrs. Callahan, the HOA president. She's saying I attacked the community gatehouse with my wheelchair. They're talking about 10 years in prison, Dad. 10 years? For Lily? The words hit like a sledgehammer. I told her I'd be there in an hour, call my driver, and we tore through the icy streets of Crestwood Pines, a gated enclave in Northern Virginia where Lily had moved 6 months ago. She'd scraped together savings from her part-time job and loans to rent a modest apartment, craving the independence she'd earned. But from day one, Patricia Callahan, the HOA's iron-fisted president, had made her life a nightmare. Complaints about Lily's wheelchair ramp, her designated parking spot, even the faint hum of her electric chair on the sidewalk was relentless. Now this. By the time I reached the county jail, my blood was boiling. Lily sat in a holding cell, still in her navy hoodie and leggings, her face blotchy from crying. She looked so small, so fragile, reaching for me through the bars. Dad, I didn't do anything, she whispered. I gripped her hand, forcing calm into my voice. Tell me everything. She recounted the night. Coming home from a late seminar around 9 p.m., using the community's only wheelchair-accessible entrance. Callahan was waiting, arms crossed, eyes glinting with contempt. She said the handicap gate was for daytime use only, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Lily explained. I told her that illegal federal law requires 24/7 access. I showed her the ADA regulations on my phone, but she wouldn't budge. She stood in my way, Dad, physically blocking me. Lily had tried to maneuver around her, but the gate's rusty mechanism snagged her wheel. When she tugged it free, the flimsy wooden gatehouse wobbled. Callahan lost it, Lily said. She screamed that I was vandalizing HOA property, that I threatened her. But I didn't. I just said, you're making this worse than it needs to be. I meant legally, like filing a complaint. She twisted it to the police, said I was violent. I was livid. This wasn't just a misunderstanding, it was targeted harassment. Callahan had weaponized her authority to punish Lily for daring to exist as a disabled person. My phone buzzed. It was Lily's lawyer, Mess. Torres. Mr. Attorney General, this is bad, she said. Callahan's got 3 neighbors backing her story, claiming Lily rammed the gatehouse on purpose. There's supposed to be video, too. The prosecutor, Daniel Hayes, is gunning for maximum penalties, aggravated assault and property destruction. 10 years. At the preliminary hearing a week later, the courtroom buzzed with tension. Crestwood Pines was divided. Some residents saw Lily as a victim of ableist persecution. Others bought Callahan's narrative that she was a troublemaker hiding behind her disability. I sat in the gallery, not as Attorney General, but as a father, though every instinct screamed to pull rank. If I did, it could taint Lily's case, make it look like I was shielding her with power. So I stayed silent, fists clenched. Patricia Callahan took the stand first, a wiry woman in her 60s with a pinched face and a voice dripping with self-righteousness. As HOA president for 10 years, I uphold Crestwood Pine standards, she declared. Property values depend on order. She painted Lily as a defiant scofflaw, claiming she'd barged through the gate after hours, waving her phone aggressively and snarling, "You don't want this to get ugly." When Callahan stood her ground, she said Lily slammed her wheelchair into the gatehouse, cracking a post. The prosecutor flashed a photo of the damagia, hairline split in weathered wood, barely noticeable. It was laughable, but Callahan sold it like Lily had taken a wrecking ball to the place. MS. Torres pounced on cross-examination. Mrs. Callahan, where in the HOA bylaws does it say the handicap entrance is restricted to certain hours? Callahan squirmed. It's an unwritten rule. Residents know it. Torres pressed. Did you ever inform MS Harper of this rule in writing? Callahan's eyes darted. She should have known. The lawyer's voice sharpened. Are you aware that federal law mandates unrestricted access for disabled residents? Callahan snapped. Our community has its own standards. A murmur rippled through the courtroom. She just admitted to flouting the ADA. Lily's testimony was a gut punch. She spoke softly, her hands steady despite the weight of the moment. I just wanted to go home, she said. Mrs. Callahan has targeted me since I moved in. Me ramps ugly, my parking's inconvenient, my wheelchair's too loud. That night, she blocked my path. I begged her to let me pass, but she said I needed to use the main entrance. It has stairs. I can't climb stairs. Her voice cracked. When my will got caught, I apologized. She screamed that I was attacking her property, that I was using my disability as an excuse. The room was silent, some jurors wiping tears. But the prosecutor, Hayes, wasn't done. In a bold move, he took the stand himself, framing Lily's case as a referendum on disability fraud. Your Honor, he said, we're seeing a trend, people exploiting disabilities to dodge accountability. MS. Harper may use a wheelchair, but that doesn't exempt her from the law. It was a chilling argument, dripping with prejudice. He wanted to make an example of Lily to burnish his tough-on-crime credentials. I couldn't stay quiet. I stood, my voice cutting through the courtroom. Your Honor, I am Thomas Harper, United States Attorney General and Lily's father. Gasps echoed. Callahan's face drained of color. Hayes froze. This isn't just decides a witch hunt against a disabled woman for demanding her rights. The judge banged his gavel, but I pressed on. Mrs. Callahan, you've harassed my daughter, blocked her access, and lied to paint her as a criminal. You didn't know who I was, but that shouldn't matter. Every disabled person deserves dignity. I pulled out my phone, dialing my deputy. Laura, get the Civil Rights Division on Crestwood Pines HOA. I want a full probe into disability discrimination and loop in the FBI check for federal violations. Callahan stammered, This is a mistake. I turned to her. The mistake was yours thinking you could bully my daughter and break federal law. To Hayes, I added, and you, using Lily to score political points? Shame on you. The judge's voice was stern. Mr. Hayes, in light of this, how do you proceed? Hayes, sweating, mumbled, We'll reconsider the charges. The judge didn't hesitate. All charges against MS Harper are dismissed. I'm ordering a review of this prosecution for ethical breaches. Callahan tried to protest. She can't just use her father's title to escape. I leaned in close. Lily didn't use my title. You created this mess with your cruelty. Your rules violate federal law. Get a lawyer. The investigation that followed was damning. The DOJ uncovered a pattern of Callahan targeting disabled residents, pressuring them to leave. The HOA faced a federal lawsuit, paid hefty damages, and overhauled its policies. Callahan was ousted and slapped with personal liability. Hayes was censured by the state bar for prosecutorial misconduct. Lily, though, was the real force. Weeks later, she told me, Callahan was half right. I do expect special treatment, being treated like a person with rights. If that's special, maybe the problem's not us. Maybe it's a world where decency's rare. Her case became a touchstone for disability rights, sparking reforms and inspiring others. She graduated with honors, now works for the CDC, and still lives in Crestwood Pines, where the new HOA board respects everyone. What do you think? Was Callahan just enforcing rules, or was she a bigot hiding behind them? Should prosecutors like Hayes face harsher consequences for weaponizing disability cases? And what about Lily? Did she fight for justice? Or did her father's power tip the scales? Drop your thoughts below Hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that'll make you think. Where are you watching from?